I'm as excited now as I've ever been about my photography. Like, it will never wane. It's part of who I am as a person, and I look forward to what I haven't shot yet. It is where I want to be. You know, great path. I feel fortunate to have chosen the path that I did.
3 years. It's been 3 long years since I've seen a photography show. Last time was in 2019 in Paris. Now, here in Calgary at the Christine Klassen Gallery, my good friend Steve Speer is showing some of his large format work, all shot on 4x5, gigantic big prints, 30x40 black and white prints. I can't wait to see this. It's been a long time. COVID has taken away so much from so many people. I can't wait to get in and take a look at his show. So I'm going to take you guys with me and do a little interview with Steve and talk about his process, his prints, how he works. And that was my original thought doing this YouTube channel as well, is I wanted to interview photographers. On my channel, I'll leave a link below. I did an interview with the great Bill Allard, the National Geographic photographer. And now I'm gonna do one with my friend Steve. And hopefully I'll do more down the road. So let's go in, take a look at a show and see what we think.
Hey Todd,
hey
welcome
Steve.
to the gallery. Good to see you. Let me show you my stuff.
These are amazing prints, nice and big. What's the show about?
So the show is about photography as a recollective device. And these images, some of them dating back to the mid-1980s, are representative of me as a photographer when I was finding my vision. They're very important images to me, and to me this show was about stuff that I cared about. The sentimental value, of course, but to me they're also historic. You know, like I look at these images and I feel, as objective as I'm able to be about my own work, I feel like these are strong images, and they represent a period in time when I was finding my photographic voice.
And where were these photographs taken?
They're all taken in Alberta. So the snow fence on the far side there is taken in Delia, just outside of town. Etsicom, Alberta, Mossley. This is the exterior of the public school at East Cooley, and then the church is out at Dorothy, and that one is the oldest image of the bunch. It has since been refurbished, and it's totally lost its photogenic qualities. Like I feel like I got it at a good time.
What's the size of these prints?
So these are all 30x40s, and this is the first time that any of these images have ever been printed to this size. 4x5 film though holds up beautifully. Like the detail is impeccable.
Yeah, I wanted to take you through that for a second.
Yeah.
Tell me about the photographic process of you taking these pictures. What were they photographed on? I know that this is all film. What kind of film? What's the size?
Yeah, okay, so off the top it would have either been Tri-X or HP5 was what I was shooting. And the thing about this is I love the process of photography. Like, yes, it's great to have images on the wall and to show them to the general public, but I find the act of photography is a solitary pursuit, and I love the process of shooting large format. You're on a tripod, it slows you down, it forces you to be in the moment, and to me that's important. Even though I shoot digitally now, I still use a tripod and I still think the same way. Like, I'm not a prolific shooter. I tend to like to spend my time composing in camera. I'm not just firing off a whack of shots and hoping for something good. I know I've got something good when I decide to trip the shutter.
How were these printed then? What was the process of you printing these?
I enlisted the services of Royce Howland, and he has he's obsessive compulsive about printing. He's a great person to have on hand. He's I learned a bunch of things from him as well that I've taken away and I will apply to my own prints when I'm working at a smaller scale. But these are printed on Hahnemühle William Turner etching, and the print quality is just outstanding. Like I love them.
And how did you do the scans? How did you get the files from your 4x5 negatives?
So people might be surprised. These are not drum scans. These are scanned on my Epson flatbed scanner, 4x5 film holder, and the quality of the scans turned out just great. Like I mean, you can walk up to these, you can put your nose up to the glass and see the detail that's there.
Why do you think it's important for photographers to print their images?
So in terms of the whole process, I mean, and photography is a process. There's image capture, there's image working with your image either in the darkroom or on the desktop, and the completion of the process is the print. And to me, there's nothing better than holding a finely printed, just the tangible quality of holding a print on nice paper in your hand, and then getting it framed up and getting it hung and having it lit. Like it elevates it and elevates it and elevates it, as long as all of the components are done properly.
So, and take me through your choices of how you presented these photographs and hung these photographs.
So as far as choice goes, I knew I was going to be printing big, and in talking to Royce, we talked about more of the contemporary style of presentation. So these are matted with 8-ply mat board, and they're a 4-inch mat on all sides. So there's a nice consistency about the presentation of the image. And I've seen great photographs that have been improperly framed, and you look at them and it takes them down, you know. So it's very important that all of the pieces are working together. You got to be firing on all cylinders. So.
How long have you been a photographer for?
1973. I'm 2 years away from 50 years, you know, and the thing is, I'm as excited now as I've ever been about my photography. Like, it will never wane. It's part of who I am as a person, and I look forward to what I haven't shot yet. It is where I want to be, you know. Great path. I feel fortunate to have chosen the path that I did.
What still gets you excited about being a photographer?
Being in the field. So being in the field and going out for multiple days, and you can attest to this, I'm sure. Like, when you're out in the field, you kind of get into a zone, and again, that's where I like to be on my own. I don't like, I mean, I'll shoot with other people as well, but to me, the optimum opportunity is to be on your own with multiple days, just unlimited time, so you can really kind of get into the zone. And I find I get better images on the second day typically, you know, like it just is. Yeah, like the process of being in the field, the initial capture, when you've got something on the ground glass that you know is there, it does something to you. Like it gets the endorphins going.
Why did you quit shooting film? Because these were all large format,
yeah.
4x5. Why did you quit this process? And you used to make prints in the darkroom.
Yeah, and it was. Given the opportunity, I would still enjoy shooting this, but like thinking about travel and all, shooting lighter gear, and to me, it's yes, it's part about the process, but it's also more about what you hang on the wall, what you print, what you wind up with as an end result. And to me, the idea of having saying, well, yes, this is 4x5 or yes, this is digital, is less important than somebody connecting with the image as it is, and just lighter gear and fewer steps as far as the process goes. And I was scanning all my stuff anyway, so digital was wound up being the end result after I sold my darkroom. Digital wound up becoming the end result, and I thought, well, if I'm going to be shooting digital and printing digital, it's just a more streamlined process. So,
who were some of your mentors, favorite photographers?
So I can relate to one thing specifically. Dan Gordon, who was one of my instructors at ACA, he had a show at Illingworth Kerr Gallery. It was called Observations, Time and Place. And I can remember looking at his imagery. There was one particular portion. He had about 3 or 4 different sections that were specific to a style of photography. He had one that was called Death Valley Suites. And I remember being up close to it, looking at it, and then I stepped back about 20 feet and looked at it as a body of work, and it was a moment of epiphany. Like I was looking at this thing thinking, this is what photography is about. It's not just about an image, it's about the body of work. And this is a body of work. So this photo here, this is the Anglican Church out at Dorothy, and I had seen a couple of other images of this church. I knew it was there, and this was shot in the later spring. You can see there's still some snow on the ground. Drove out, and this image just it appeals to me because it's one of my older images, one of my earlier images from 4x5 shooting. And since this image was taken, the church has been renovated, it's been painted, it's lost all of its photographic quality. The fence is gone, all of this beautiful prairie grass has been mowed down, and now it's just a sterile chunk of dirt. So this was a good one. I was very engaged while I was there. I took a number of shots, but this one stands out.
People of my channel will know that I love hats and old hats. I love this print. Tell me a little bit about this print here.
Yeah, had I been thinking, Todd, I should have grabbed that hat for you. But part of the shooting derelict buildings is shooting them the way they were when I entered and leaving them the way they were when I entered. So I don't typically move things. I shoot what I see. This was on an old house on the Etsicom outskirts, and I crawled in the window, and this is exactly what I saw when I walked in there. There were a number of other photographic opportunities in this house, but this one was by far the most outstanding. And this is one of my most popular images. I've sold a number of this, but I've never seen it this big. 30 by 40, you can't beat it.